Hi, my name is Jacob Lucas, and my chosen analysis for today will be doing for Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1. Um, this is by a team of people named James, I'm trying not to butcher this, but Tynian the Fourth, and Werther Del Edera. Del Edera. Okay, I feel like that's safe to say. Um, James was the creator of the comic, and he's the one who uh, started the collab. And Deladera is the artist for behind the work and the illustrator, and he did a great job with a mention of Mikel Muerto being the colorist to make everything all pop in retrospect. Um, it's published by Boom Studios, and the volume consists of 5 total issues, around 128 pages in total. Um, as far as it being a graphic novel, I would say that it's a compilation, not a standalone novel. It's important to note that it's a compilation of the initial arc of an ongoing series, offering a complete yet contained story rather than just it being the whole entire fleshed out thing. We'll get into the act breakdown and the act one. Um, it introduces the overall setting, the overall place, the problem, the whole shebang. It does a good job of doing that. We start here with the boy James interacting with his friends, telling a spooky story, playing truth or dare, everything's fine, and it turns out to be more or less of a flashback of what actually happened that night that his friends died. Um, he has some survivor's guilt, and that's obvious in starting the story. He has survivor's guilt. Even students come and confront him about it, telling them that he killed his friends. But no, it's actually that something from the title. It's a monsters that only kids can see, actually. So yeah, we go on that. That's how it starts, and that's for around the first 30 pages for the first act. And then Act Two, you we grow on. We go on to the rising conflict and confrontation. We get introduced to new characters. Well, in Act One, we meet a character named Erica. Her position in the comic doesn't seem to be um, initially defined. We just know that she's here to kill monsters. Um, and it's later learned that she's not only here to kill monsters, but she's trying to also to prevent the kids from being killed by the monsters. Um, she gets put in. Well, she meets James, the kid who's traumatized, and James has a clear shift in character where he goes from this traumatized individual, lonely student to wanting to help her exterminate. And then that ends around page 95. We go to Act 3, the confrontation of the school, and that ends around page 128. I mean, the structure of the entire story effectively builds the tension that drives the narrative forward. The primary function for Erica, her name is Erica Slaughter. Her story is to stop the monster, and the conflict in Act 2 directly supports this goal by presenting the obstacles that she must overcome in reaching her goal. The volume has a very satisfying story arc. Uh, it's clear with a beginning, middle, and end, although it's all a setup for a much larger narrative. It does a great job doing that. Erica's compelling protagonist herself, but her character in the arc is more about revealing her methods of how she's doing it, and backstory more than who she is like now. in the particular time the story's happening. She remains consistent through the whole thing. She never really has a character change or character shift or any of that. James, however, the person we started from, the kid who is traumatized, he goes from um, more of a subtle change where he evolves from the traumatized survivor with the guilt and survivor's guilt and all that to someone who finds a purpose in trying to stop the monsters with her. As for the transitions, the story it gives very effective transitions to the setting of time. We know what's happening, after one after the other. What is it? McLeod's theory on the transitions and the we see action to action with her fighting scenes. We have action to action with the shift of focus from Erica to James to whoever we're actually, because there are more characters, but they're not like main characters. But then um, we have you know uh, we have what did I say, the scene transitions. We have the shift of focus, and we move from location to location, and it's easy to tell, and it's easy to follow, and each page functions as a mini comic with the deliberate panel layouts and compositions. The directional flow. Uh, the artwork uses directional flow to guide the reader's eye. It's super easy to follow. It's not hard to follow. The arrows on a comic page, because it's there. If you're on digital, it directs the reader, page left, page right. Easy method to follow. Me personally, I would highly recommend it as a read. Um, it's a great horror comic. Uh, Strong storytelling, compelling characters, great visuals, gory. Um, you know, it's a good read. If you like horror, you like suspense, um, and if you're not a regular comic reader, it's provides the enabling rich material for anybody to follow on. Um, the use of color, and the contrast between the muted tones and the vivid reds and the it enhances the experience, it enhances the horrors. Um, uh, a fun fact about this comic is that it came from a short story idea that Tynion had about a monster hunter only children can see. Um, and he fleshed that out, and later you have this. And, for that, I feel like, you haven't, he had a small idea, he made it something bigger, and I enjoyed this comic a lot. And not just the first volume, but the second one, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. And it's really gripping as a story. Um, I personally relate to James and his survivor's guilt that they explore a lot, and it's really fantastic how they fleshed it out and had us go back and forth between the two. Erica being seeming like she's just stoic, but it's really that she has a lot of empathy for the people, for the kids going through what they're going through. And yeah, I would highly recommend this